Now, today is a very exciting day because we are planting in the greenhouse today. This is my 24 by 95 foot greenhouse. I have two of these, one right here and one over there. The one on the other side has ranunculus in it right now. Let me show you actually. So this tunnel, each one has 6 30-inch beds. And so 3 of them are taken up with ranunculus and some anemones. Beautiful. Which means my spring subscription starts next week. I was trying to time it so they could have a few tulips at the beginning and then finish it strong with ranunculus and anemone, which I think that it's about to explode in here. Right now it just mostly looks green. But here in a week or two, this whole place will just be beautiful flowers. But anyway, this side, I'm going to plant my first succession of cucumbers in these 3 beds. And then by the time that the ranunculus is done, the cucumbers on this side probably will have cucumber beetles or bacterial wilt or everything that plagues organic cucumbers, because I can't afford, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right now, I cannot afford to net this whole thing. Have you looked at the price of insect net? Insane. And so I've got 2 95 foot long tunnels with 5 foot sidewalls, and we're 6 foot. Don't know, but they're tall. And your girl can't afford it right now, okay? We're balling on a budget. But back to the topic of the day, tomatoes. So last year I grew tomatoes in a tunnel for the very first time in my, what's now just my seed starting tunnel over there, which is only 40 foot long. So I only had 36 foot beds because you gotta have a walkway at the beginning and the end. And I learned my lessons. It's harder than it looks. That tunnel gets really, really hot, so you need to pay attention if you're putting up a high tunnel. Don't just Google it, because Google has so many options. You need to find your prevailing wind. So where are your winds mostly? Ours are mostly from the west, or east and west. And so when we set up our tunnels north and south, then the wind can blow right through here, because these are also not super high-tech fancy tunnels. These are bare minimum. It just has the steel and the plastic. I don't have fans, I don't have electricity, I don't have heat, and we're about to have irrigation, but that's what I've been waiting on to plant in here. So I've got to make what I have work. And the fancy growers that have fancy equipment can plant every single row super densely and not have a problem, because they turn the heat on in the morning to bring the dew point down so it soaks up all the moisture in the air. And then they have lots of fans that keeps the air moving so that their plants stay nice and healthy. I don't have that, okay? That's what I learned last year. So I'm going to completely switch my game plan, which is stressful, but we're doing it. What you see behind me is I'm doing double staggered rows. My plants are going to be 2 feet apart in the row and also 2 feet from the next plant in the same row. A big walkway, which I'm missing out on planting it, but I think that having fewer plants but more healthy will serve me better than just filling this whole house and losing them halfway through, or losing half of them because they just weren't happy. So that's the game plan. So I have 4 beds now, 90 feet long, with a nice big walkway in between. And then I can pull a nice wide cart through to harvest all my tomatoes into, which is, I think, the best option. In this first row, I'm going to do cherry tomatoes. Now, what's concerning me is that I'm trellising all of these with a tomahawk, which is like basically a string on a thing. And this is a short row, and I'm just going to stop thinking about it because I'm sure it's going to be fine. Now, like I said, I'm planting 2. Ignore the 3rd row in the middle here. My husband was burning holes, and it was way too close together, so there's extra center holes, but those don't serve any purpose, so pretend they're not there. These are my favorite cherry tomato, the Sun Gold. I grew all of these in the soil ball method, and I still love this method. I find that I get the best transplants, and to be honest, this year's transplants are just not something that I want to brag about. Like, these look fine, but last year they were so good, and this year kind of struggled because it just stayed cold. We had really warm spells, but then really cold spells, and they didn't appreciate it. But you know what? Not every year is the same, and it's fine. I'm sure these are going to grow up and produce perfectly good tomatoes. They're just not as pretty as they were last year. The cherry tomatoes that I'm choosing to grow inside my high tunnel for shape, size, flavor, and color are Sun Gold and Sakura, are both hybrids from Johnny's. And then Lucky Tiger, that I really, really liked last year, is a longer, kind of like Brad's Atomic Grape, if you know that shape. It's like that, but it's really sweet. And Black Cherry. So I have like one of each color. Lucky Tiger's green and stripes, and it's beautiful. But they all taste amazing and hopefully perform well in this tunnel. Okay, so I didn't get that far today. I'm low on energy, and you know what? It's gonna be fine. We're going into the weekend and I'll be able to finish it. But I did get a row and a half done. 2.5 rows to go. The last step was to turn on our brand new irrigation, which is kind of, that's dripping, which is kind of nerve-wracking, because then you gotta find if there are any leaks, any holes. And will you walk? One critical step is to walk to the end and see if the end caps blew off or they're good. Try not to spill it on me this time, because last time I dumped this crusty old milk all over me. So, honey calved in January, fairly sure January, I don't know, all my months blend together. And she's making like more than 6 gallons a day, and we cannot drink 6 gallons a day. So I usually keep morning milk, because we chill our milk in the freezer, and if we keep evening milk, we tend to forget that it's in the freezer and then it gets frozen overnight. So instead, we just dump the evening milk in buckets. It doesn't go to waste, it feeds the pigs, and I'm about to show you how insanely happy it makes them. I don't know if happy is even the word. Feral might be a better word. You'll see. I will caution you though, don't stand too close, because it'll shake like a dog and flip sour milk all over your face. That was gross. We're using PigNet from Premier One, and I had a couple people message me with cautionary tales telling me that it didn't really work for them. Because pigs are rooting animals, they're constantly pushing dirt and sticks, especially in a wood setting. Dirt and sticks and mud and things up against your fence, which will ground it out. But I haven't really found that to be a problem, because I mean, we're out here at least twice a day anyway. It's like this every single morning, but all I have to do is I come out here And there'll be a place like this that's touching the bottom wire or pretty close to touching. Whoop. And all you have to do is come out here, like I have rubber boots on, and I just kick it away from the bottom of the fence. So every day when I'm out here feeding and watering, I just do a perimeter scan and make sure that the fence isn't grounding out on anything. Because pigs are so smart, this hot fence or hot wire, whichever way you choose to go, it really works, but you have to be vigilant and make sure that it's always hot, because if they figure out that it's not that hot, they can plow through if there's something on the other side that they really want. But this system has really been working. So today's Friday. We move them each Saturday, or that's the plan. We've only moved them once so far, but I'll show you the other paddock. So for not having used this system very long, like this is our first time, it's working out really good for us. So this is the paddock that they were in last week. This only took 1 week to go from this green over here to this bare, completely bare spot. And this one is pretty much exactly the same. So they're ready to move. Tomorrow we'll move them over a paddock. And the easiest way, because pigs are trained to this fence and they're smart, and pigs don't have super good eyesight. They don't just blindly trust you when you peel back a panel of this. They don't readily walk through. Now, what the experts say is to use a wooden gate so that they can push on it, nudge on it, rub on that part, and they know that it doesn't shock them. But we didn't do that. All we did was guide them with some old milk, and they followed that like it's their kryptonite. So this video was kind of random and it doesn't have an ending, and I'm really sorry, but I need to post it. So it's just going to be open-ended, and we'll continue this in part 2. Shall we? But yeah, I'm tired, and I'm going to go inside and get me a little snack and take a bath and change my clothes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.